Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at a build parts guide for those of you wanting to build a cheap and effective gaming system based on Intel hardware. This is going to cost somewhere in the region of £600. That is the price at the moment here in the UK at the recording date. Now obviously it will change a little bit, things do go up and down, so please do let us know in the comment section if you find anything in the listing which may be slightly different in price. Always good to hear from you guys so we can update those things on the fly. But for those of you that are interested, if you want to build a similar system, all the parts will be listed in the video description below. And of course you can follow along with the PC part picker and also make any changes you may feel appropriate for your specific needs. Now with a budget of around about £600, you can actually get a pretty powerful PC. This will incorporate a Intel 12400 processor on the LGA 1700 socket, which should still have a little bit of longevity to it. Now, as we know, 14th gen is going to be the last outing, or at least it seems that will be the last outing on this particular platform. So if you're starting off at the lower end, at least you've still got all of the 13th gen and whatever comes out on 14th gen to go with this particular build to grow as maybe your funds increase, or you just feel you need more power, in which case this PC is going to be relatively straightforward to upgrade. But as it comes straight out of the box, well, after you've built it, you should find this to be pretty decent, and for either video editing, gaming, or just some productivity work will be absolutely great and pretty quiet as well at the same time, and also not using an absolute ton of power, which is always a good thing, especially with winter coming and energy crisis more than likely going to increase significantly for pretty much all of us across the globe. So with that out of the way, let's get on and take a look at some of the parts we're going to be using. So this is our PC part picker list, so you can follow along. This will be listed in the video description, so obviously if you want to make any modifications, maybe tweak it to your own particular liking, you certainly can do. If you want to change your region, you can just go to this top right hand corner and choose your country, and you'll get prices which are obviously local to you. They will differ, as they tend to, between countries, but anyway, let's get on with it. So the first one is going to be the Intel Core i5 processor, 12400F. This does not have integrated graphics, so you will need a separate graphics card. Although, if you do want to spend about £10 to £15 extra, you can get a version of this which actually does have the integrated graphics. Whether or not that's going to be suitable for you, only time will tell. At the moment here in the UK, Amazon.co.uk are currently selling this processor with its 6 cores and 12 threads and turbo boosting up to around about 4.4 gigahertz. We're looking at £135.18, which actually is a cracking value for money. Now, of course, if you go down the AM4 route, you could get a 5600, 5800 almost, with some deals going on. So you are going to have to make that decision whether or not Intel is going to be the way to go for you. Now, Intel will have a significant advantage in single core performance. The Intel cores do perform exceptionally well and do have a performance bump. So yeah, that is going to be down to the individual. This actually comes with its own stock integrated cooler, which we've done videos on how to install. They're not very good, but if you don't want to use the cooler, which I've suggested here, which is the ID Cooling SE214XT, then you can save yourself almost £20 on the overall price. Now, I've listed this as being a £600 deal. We have got £5 shipping, and we have gone slightly over at £623, but that is with the cooler, which isn't entirely necessary. This processor is only a 65 watt unit, and even with the turbo boosts, you're only going to be looking at somewhere around about the 110, 115 watts mark. So you shouldn't really need anything more than the stock cooler, but if you do want to make it a little bit quieter, then obviously you can make that decision when the time comes. Also, something of note is this cooler does have addressable RGB. You can get a slightly cheaper version if RGB isn't your thing. And I've actually gone for the white version here as opposed to the black version, just to try and tie in with our theme. We do have a snow edition case, so yeah, there is a little bit of a black and white theme going on here. Onto the motherboard. Now the motherboard, you can go considerably cheaper if you want to, and you could save yourself around about £30. Again, if you're not into RGB and maybe you only want to have the ability to install 2 sticks of RAM rather than this one where you have the option for 4, so this is more future proofing for future upgrades. This motherboard also supports BIOS flashback and has also got some quite substantial VRM cooling going on there. 6+2+1 phases on the VRMs. You've also got 2 M.2 slots, both supporting PCI Express Gen 4x4. Of course, you've got your PCI Express Gen 4x16 graphics card slot. plus a couple of extra ×1 slots down the bottom for further expansion. Pretty nice board overall and relatively inexpensive at around about £100. Like I said, you do have 4 RAM slots there, so you can populate the first 2 first of all with your 16 gigs of RAM, then add on RAM later should your budget or needs require. Next up is going to be the RAM. So the RAM is going to be relatively generic. Again, depending where you are in the world, you may find other options. I would probably be looking at Corsair Vengeance RAM. There's no point going over DDR4 3200 on this particular platform. The processor simply doesn't use it. It's basically wasting your money. So unless you can get a really good deal on some 3600 RAM, you can always underclock it or reduce the frequency should you wish to. You may find on some systems they will allow you to overclock the RAM slightly, but realistically on an Intel system it isn't going to make a dramatic amount of difference. Something else I should have mentioned actually earlier on is the fact that the Intel Core i5, if you're buying this processor now and you decide later you want to upgrade to a newer DDR5 platform, this processor works on both DDR4 and DDR5 platforms. I've chosen to go with DDR4 on this particular instance just to save some money, but you will get some speed increases with using DDR5, although the latency question is still open for debate. When it comes to storage, gone with something relatively straightforward here. So this is a Kioxia Exceria G2. You can of course use any drive you want to on there. This I find to be a relatively good price at the moment for a 1TB drive. This is only PCI Express Gen 3 ×4, which is still going to be plenty fast enough for what we need on this particular system. You won't find any bottlenecks on storage. Graphics card wise, this is going to be the tried and trusted graphics card. So the Asrock Challenger D Radeon RX 6600 8 gigs. I've decided to go with 8 gigs as a very minimum. I don't think it's really worth getting a graphics card with 4 or 6 gigabytes in 2023 going into 2024. And in terms of pricing, there isn't a lot between them. So this actually comes in at $193.10 currently. You can often pick these up with special offers as well, bringing them down even lower. But I do feel, even though when this graphics card first came out, it was met with relatively universal disdain, as prices have dropped and the market has changed, this is actually a fantastic value for money and does perform very well. Again, if you want to see a review of this particular card, we have done a video on it. I have bought one of these, so I do know that it is a very good choice. Next up is going to be the case which we're going to throw all this into. Now because we've got a micro ATX motherboard, we can go with a micro ATX case. Also something to bear in mind if you are going with ATX or mini ATX, just have a look on your motherboard and see where your graphics card slot is. If it's at the top like it is here, then this is actually really good for cooling because you're going to have a little bit of room down this bottom section for air to actually get into dual slot cards. Whereas if this slot is down one, then it means you've only got 3 slots at the bottom. So if you've got a card which takes 2.5 slots, it's going to really struggle to get air in the bottom there because it's going to be a very narrow clearance. So do bear that in mind. Having said that, this particular case I've not actually built in yet, but I am looking forward to doing that at some point. Thermaltake do some pretty decent stuff, and at $39.98 from scan.co.uk, this one comes in at a pretty decent price and is very good construction if it's anything like the S300 or S500 that preceded it. Next up is going to be the power supply. Now the power supply, again, country-wise, is going to make some changes here. At the moment in the UK, power supplies are awful prices. Pretty much one of the best bang per buck in the moment is going to be this one, the MSI Mag A550BN, which is a bronze 550 watt. We only need around about 400 watts for this system, so this is over and above what we need. There are other options. Gamemax do some pretty decent rampage power supplies, which you can save maybe £10 to £15 on this and still get a decent power supply. The Rampage 500 is going to be a good shout at around about £35 to £40 most of the time here in the UK. There was an option as well which I did find for a EVGA 600 watt, which is a gold rated, which has been parading around on Amazon, but it does say give up to 6 to 7 months for delivery. Now as it stands, I'm not even entirely sure that EVGA will be around in 6 to 7 months, so I've chosen to leave that out, although it is the same price as this, higher wattage, and is also gold certified. But I think being that we're using a relatively low wattage here, low wattage parts, etc., the actual certified efficiency isn't going to be one of those key paramount things. But let me know what you think in the comments. To round things off, because we don't have any real additional cooling in the case, not that we really need it, because again, these are pretty cool running parts, I have opted here for a 3-pack of the Thermalright TL C12C fans. These are pretty decent. Again, for £5 each, you can't really go too far wrong. So £15 again. If you want to take that off the bill and just go with the OEM cooler that comes with the actual processor, so you can remove the fans and the cooler, and you'll be saving yourself the best part of about £35. So that is going to bring it way under the £600 target. So that is pretty much it for the list of parts. I think this will be a great little gaming PC, and also does have the ability to grow in a year or so's time, when maybe the 13600 is about, or 13700, or maybe a 14500 if that ever comes out. You could basically put it into this system and not have too much problem. Also, this motherboard, I should point out, it does have buttons down the bottom for resetting the BIOS and also flashing the BIOS as well, which is potentially going to be important for some people depending on what processor you're planning on putting on here. Being this is the B760 chipset, you should find it's pretty much compatible with everything that is currently on the market available as of the time of recording. But as always, do check the support pages to see if the processor that you're planning on is supported. But we know the 12400 works on here straight out of the box, so you shouldn't have any problems at all. So there we go, a nice little system based around the Intel 12400 processor. Actually, I should say 12400F. There is a very distinct difference because it doesn't have integrated graphics, which some people may find useful, especially if you want to take advantage of Intel QuickSync technology for doing video editing, that kind of stuff. Or maybe you just don't want to buy a graphics card, you just need a workhorse PC for doing maybe coding or just online documents, that sort of stuff, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even answering emails, that sort of stuff. Potentially you could save yourself best part of £200, bringing this down to somewhere ranging about £350 to £400 for a desktop PC, which actually does have a little bit of longevity ahead of it. But what I think about it isn't important, what you think about it is, so sound off in the comments section below. What would you change? What things would you possibly put in instead of? Would you spend a little bit less? Would you spend a little bit more? Very interested to hear your thoughts. And as always, obviously, this is one of those time-sensitive videos, so if you're watching this a little bit later on and prices are completely different, then please try not to flame me too much in the comments. I can only work with what we have available at the time of recording. Unfortunately, time travel is currently not permitted. I don't have a large Hadron Collider to enable time travel or going to an alternate universe. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, smash that like button. If you want to see more content of this on a daily basis, hit the subscribe button and the chime notification and you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.